I had been in contact with ABC down in Lewiston and down in Meridian. I was informed by them that they told Mr. Singh that he needed to get a waiver in order to get a permanent license. I talked to him today and said, well, it looks like he has a license. What's going on? And they said, well, this is to give him an opportunity to get the waiver from the city to be able to get his plans going if he's going to go forward with his business. I was informed today that if he didn't get the waiver, they were not going to issue a permanent license. We're only here today to talk about the waiver, only about the letter, whether you're going to grant it or not. If you don't grant it and ABC gives them permit, then that's a different story. And then we'll deal with that as that goes forward. But the only thing the council's here to talk about is to whether they're going to grant that waiver that's required under the state code.
Okay, very good.
And I guess just I would respond to that. All I have from the state is what you see. And that is, here's the temporary license. You'll get the permanent license when you provide us with the transferee as Perch Inc., which was done.
Okay, thank you, Mr. Chapman. I'd like to get, you want to ask this guy a question?
Well, or Rod, either one, whatever you say.
I don't care.
Okay, my question is, I'm a little confused now. That seems to be going around some. If he does not get the permanent license, that just means that the Perch cannot sell beer and wine on premise.
Correct. They would still be operated.
They can still,
They can still operate as what, Ron?
The restaurant.
Without beer and wine
Without beer and
sales.
wine.
and only have beer and wine to go,
If they have that license, yes.
if they have that license. Okay. So, if I may, so those are two different licenses?
I believe
The
so.
on-site and the off-site?
Correct.
Thank you.
And the off-site doesn't need a waiver from us.
My understanding, it doesn't.
No, it doesn't.
And it's sold off-site or packaged alcohol for a lot of years for off-site consumption.
Gary?
The two statutes of prohibition, and there's also a companion statute for liquor, indicate that they relate to liquor, beer, and wine consumption on premises. They do not speak of package sales for off-site consumption.
Okay. All right. Thank you, Mr. Chapman. We may call you back up here, sir. I would like to have the representative from LDS Church step to the podium, sir, and please give this council your name and your address, sir, and tell us if you are or are not a church.
My name is Dr. Kip Jenkins. I'm the director of the LDS Institute of Religion. I'd like to invite, can you hear now?
Yeah, get that little old ears.
902 Deacon Avenue is the institute. I would like to invite all of you to come Sunday at 11 o'clock for communion services, and then at 12 o'clock for Old Testament Sunday School, and then at 1 o'clock to come for a priesthood meeting for the men and women's auxiliary meeting for the women. That is held every single week. Over 150 students attend that. That is a church. We also qualify as a school. We are a member of the church educational system of the Church of Jesus Christ of Latter-day Saints, with enrollment over 1.5 million college students worldwide. We offer classes in Bible, Old Testament, New Testament, Book of Mormon, Doctrine and Covenants, marriage enrichment, marriage enhancement, all directed under the church educational system with a commissioner of education in Salt Lake City. So we qualify both as a church and a school. In 1960, when the establishment that was the Perch requested a permission for a license, Joe J. Christensen, the former president of BYU and my predecessor, came before this board and begged you to be obedient to that ordinance of 300 feet. We qualified as a church. We qualified as a school. We asked you to let that ordinance stand. They are 292 feet from our door. If you measure from property to property, they're shorter than that. We did that again in the when the counselor there was going to law school. I was here then. We did it again. We asked you once again to not allow that allowance. I represent 1,100 college students who are LDS, whether single, married. I represent their children that come to that building for recreation and for church services. I'm asking you to obey that ordinance and to not allow an exemption for this rule. We have had nothing but difficulties with the Perch. I've had students who have had beer thrown on them if they've been walking to class because they're Mormons. I've had swearing at them as they go to that GD Institute. And that's all on a thing that should be provided by Safe Passage as the main entryway going up from the Institute and that back parking lot at the University of Idaho, which they use our sidewalk and go right up the south side of University, right past that deck, filled with smoke and open containers of beer. I hope Mr. Singh has a wonderful business as a restaurant. I will come and frequent that when he sells some good sandwiches as good as Stack sells. But I am asking you to be obedient to the covenant that has been given. It's 300 feet, Your Honor, Councilman. It's 300 feet, not 292 feet. We are a church and we are a school. And we have sufficient. If you want, I will pack this corridor with LDS college students that will ask you to do what I'm asking you to do. Any questions?
Thank you, sir. I don't know. Any council have questions? Thank you very much. Wayne?
Now it's my turn to be a little bit confused. Is it my understanding that in the past, the Perch has been selling beer and wine by the drink for on-site premise drinking?
I found out today there was a business in there before when they did a remodel that expanded from grocery items to deli items and did have a beer and wine license from the city.
For on-site?
But that business had lapsed, and it was lapsed for more than a year.
Did
before the
this
next
council,
business.
in fact, grant a waiver so that they were allowed to do that?
That was not brought before this council,
So they were in violation of state code?
more than likely.
Walter?
Thank you, Mayor. I will not vote to this request, whether it's before us or not, now or in the future, as long as I'm on this council, for a waiver for the state code. I have a degree from the University of Idaho. I did not do undergraduate work there, but I've lived in Moscow almost 25 years. I believe the majority of students on that campus are under 21. I do not believe beer, wine, by the drink, much less liquor, should be sold in the middle of that campus. We have an alcohol task force that was formed a year or more ago between the university, the city police department, other entities, because of instances of alcohol-fueled injury, death, property damage. It is affecting the university, not to mention the students and their parents and families, but the university's ability to serve as the flagship university of this state. It is a black eye in the past on the University of Idaho and the city of Moscow. I am sure that the Perch is not the only reason those things are occurring, and don't misunderstand me. But any opportunity that I have to say no, I will do so. I do not think this is a good use of that facility, that piece of property located where it is. And I would appreciate the support of my fellow council members in that regard. Thank you.
I want to hear from anybody else who wants to testify before achieving any conclusions.
Do we have anybody else out in the audience that we have not heard from yet?
especially Lieutenant Limits. if he
Well,
has anything
that's up
say.
to Lieutenant Limits. If he would like to address us, he may. He does not have to, but if he would, he's sure welcome to come up. It's his call.
Your Honor, he has some information. They actually went and measured distances to the
Okay.
They changed St. Church and also to the Campus Christian Center.
Okay, please state your name and address. Even though we all know you, Dave.
Dave Lamets, 543 Deer Meadow Court, Moscow, Idaho. Do you have some questions? I'm sorry, I didn't hear what Ross
Just
said.
since you had an officer that went out and made some measurements
Yes.
today.
You said there's some measurements, some
Yeah,
action.
Corporal McIntosh made some measurements.
Okay.
So the measurements for the perch are as follows. Campus Christian Center, front door of the perch to back stairwell entrance is 124 feet, 8 inches. Front door of the perch to the property line, 75 feet. Front door of the perch to the front door of the Campus Christian Center is 127 feet, 1 inch. LDS Institute, front door of the perch to the property line is 201 feet. Front door of the perch to the front door of the Institute is 292 feet and 8 inches. So that it's well within the 300 feet zone.
Okay. Well, we got some collaborating measurements there. Questions for Dave?
Yeah, Dave, I guess in the past, has there been an issue with,
Yes, we've had multiple issues at the perch involving alcohol issues. We've had fights, numerous assaults. So, yeah, we've had quite a few issues there. Underage drinking, people have been cited for MIP coming out of the establishment.
and again, this doesn't reflect on the current owners, but.
Correct. This is
There's
all
a historical.
This is all
precedent
prior.
and-
Yes.
Tom, you had your hand up.
Yeah, well, this is kind of a little bit different question, but the Idaho State Police letter that we have is not dated, and I'm just wondering if we know what the date is of that letter. It perhaps is the same date as the temporary alcohol beverage license that's on the other side, but it's
Rod
not.
would have to
Do you-
answer that.
Do you know?
I
What the
do
date
not
is
know.
of that.
That's one thing I noticed too, on the date of it.
Okay. And then I had a comment. I just wanted to affirm that I've attended numerous religious services at the Campus Christian Center as a member of the Quaker meeting that takes place there. So I do know that services occur there, in case anybody was wondering.
Other questions for Lieutenant Limits? Thank you, Lieutenant Limits.
Thank you.
You're free to sit down. Is there anybody else out there that would like to speak that has not came up before us yet that would like to talk? Please come up, state your name, address.
David Pierce, 716 East F Street, Moscow. I'm not going to take much time, but I sat here listening, and I have basically 3 comments that summarize, again, what Councilman Steed said. I think the state code is there and says what it does for a reason. It's not a good idea to have alcohol close to educational facilities or religious facilities. The other thing that was at least intimated in a previous person here was that, well, this has gone on there before. There's been alcohol served there by the drink. But past practices do not mean that they should still be allowed to continue, and I think that's where we are with this thing. Yes, it's happened in the past, but that doesn't mean it should happen in the future. Thank you.
Thank you, Dave.